Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Fresh Friday. My name is Mike, and with our hosts Lois and Danny are not around today, so I'm stepping in for them, and hopefully I can do as a good job as them. But we have a really good episode for you today. We're talking about a crucial topic today. We're looking at financial stability, we're looking at financial literacy, specifically guided by biblical principles. So how can we understand how to manage our money in today's generation that prepares us for adult responsibilities, however they look like and how they look like in today's society? And I'm joined by a guest today. And before we get into the thick of it, please, sir, introduce yourself to the people.
Thank you. Welcome. This is my first time to be in this Fresh Friday. My name is Francis Gidenji Mwangi, and I'm a born-again Christian. Christ is my Lord. And I'm happy to be here. I'm one of the elders in UK PCA. That's where I serve in God's Vineyard, working with other leaders to be able to expand and propagate the Word of God. And also by profession, I'm a social worker. For the last 30 years, I'm now a service manager, one of the leaders in Essex County Council, where we work towards supporting vulnerable adults in the county of Essex, and which knits very well with the work that we do in the church. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Okay, so Elder Francis, can I call you Francis or Elder Francis? Francis. Okay, cool. I want to read a couple of stats and go from there, because I think it's important that we have establish an understanding of financial literacy. I want to get your definition of that. But before I get your definition, I want to read out a stat. So according to my BNK and Compare the Market report, gathering data from surveys from teachers and young adults, their reports show that only 2 out of 5 young adults are financially literate. And 61% do not recall receiving financial education at school. And amongst those who held a credit card, only 44% were considered financially literate. So from your perspective, break it down. How do you define financial literacy?
Financial literacy, thank you, Mike. Financial literacy is the means and knowing how to manage your money effectively. That means all the steps right from knowing how to earn the money, how to get the money, how to spend the money, how to give the money, how to save the money, and how to gain that peace of mind with the money, getting comfortable with the money. And that is something that I think we tend to struggle with. If you don't have the literacy, if you get it wrong right from the start, when you are earning the money or going for the means of earning the money, then it means that you are getting into problems in your life. And fixing those problems, especially when later in your life, becomes very, very expensive. Therefore, having the financial literacy in your early age is very, very important. That can come from your family. That can come also from the educational system. And also you can reach out there. At the moment, we have a lot of source of information out there people can reach out to. But it has also to have the foundations of the Word of God. It has to have the foundation of Word of God. That is very important. And as we dig deeper, we'll understand how do you start off having this financial literacy. It's very straightforward. There is some key principles that you have to follow. And that is where I would like our young people, our old people, it's never too late to learn about financial literacy. I'm still learning as well. I'm still doing mistakes. But doing mistakes is not a problem. It's about repeating it all the time.
Gotcha.
Start getting it right.
And
once you change that, you get comfortable with the money. We say money is the source of all evil, but also you can...
the love of money is the source of all evil.
Okay, the love of money is...
money is still a good thing.
Yeah, money is still a good thing. It's how can you make money your friend to do the good thing? To give you that peace, because money can also be a source of peace as well. Because when you are doing good things, you are able to supply yourself. You are able to support the work of God. You are able to save for your future, to manage your risks. It becomes your friend.
So tell us then, when did you as a young man or a very, very young boy, when did you get that first taste of money? I'm earning money and it feels good.
Yeah.
And you realize that I need to learn more about how to handle money. When did that, what was that experience like? Can you give us a bit of a story time?
Yeah, the experience of having money started off when I was very young, having grown up in the country in Kenya, and also being told I'm responsible for milking the cows and taking the milk to the dairy. And one of the things my dad used to tell me on my school holidays is that once you go out and sell the milk, this percentage keep this one is part of your spending money when you go back to boarding school.
Nice. So it's basically your salary.
Therefore, it was enhancing. I have to make sure that I market the milk.
Yeah.
To make
there's
sure
an incentive for you.
Yeah, it's an incentive. The commission grows as I sell more. And I used to keep it, and then I used to spend it. But also it means that I started learning about how do I spend that money. Sometimes I would go to school and spend it all on sweet things, nice things, and by the time I'm halfway through the term, I don't have any money. So it was about learning how do I spend it.
Yeah.
Prioritizing on some of the important issues that I need to do.
Yeah. And that's perfect because that leads us into our next topic about how, earning the money.
Yeah.
So Colossians 3:23 says that whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord.
Yeah.
Not for human masters, knowing that you shall receive a reward from the Lord a little bit later in that chapter.
Yeah.
So you found an opportunity with selling cows at the dairy markets. What other opportunities as you were growing up did you find that you could earn money? What kind of side hustles did you do? What kind of career advancements did you come? Any passive income?
Yeah, when I came, if we jump all the way for me coming to UK back in 1994, and one of the things I understood is that step number one is about looking at ways of earning money. One is I had a young family to feed. Second, I also wanted to develop myself.
Yeah.
The first thing that I did, I found a job. I was working in a factory. I was feeding my family. Then my wife was able to sustain us a little bit. We managed to work together, and I went back to uni. I actually went back to college because I needed to go to uni. I went to Hackney College.
What did you study?
I studied, it was during the age of the computer were coming to place.
Gotcha.
I studied IT. It was called WordPerfect 1, 2, 3. They had floppy disk, and I started building computers.
Yeah.
I bought some pieces of computer, I put them together, and I sold to a few of our family members and friends. And
basically Steve Jobs.
And I started selling them.
Yeah.
And also at that point as well, I trained as well to be an admin task, sort of learning how to use Excel, all those office applications. And successively, what happened is I was in Hackney. We were living in Hackney in London, and a job in the newspaper came up saying all those unemployed youths should fill. It was in the Hackney Gazette, and I applied. I think there was about 3,000 people who applied, and I was shortlisted to be trained up and employed in Hackney Council as an admin, as a floating admin. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have to find a place to start your earning, but also don't stay stagnant. Look at ways to develop yourself. Look at ways to increase your earning potential. So I was there permanent now, and as an office admin, I was I was floating around in all the offices in Hackney, and eventually I ended up in social services office.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there sort of supporting social workers, occupational therapists, and they were always giving me instructions, sort of call these, or have I received any messages, take my phone calls. And eventually I thought, you know what? I can do the job you're doing.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I understand this. Yeah.
And I thought, what are you guys doing? You are social workers. What do you need to become a social worker? You need to go to uni.
So you was asking questions.
Yeah.
It wasn't just sitting down and observing with your eyes. Yeah. You were interacting with your mouth as well.
I was interacting, and also I was friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean because they are higher than me, I don't need to become friends. I don't need to become jealous. It's about I appreciate where you are. Let us celebrate where you are. And that is why I always tell young people is that have one person you are looking up to and have another people you are bringing up. That's my motto.
Yeah.
Therefore, we agreed, and what did I do? I went to uni. I started off, I didn't have the qualifications to go into uni. I went to Hackney College again, and I did access to social work. And the following year, I went to uni. I went half-time. I left my work for, I used to work half a week. I went to uni for 3 years, for 4 years. And I gained my qualification. And you know what happened?
Yeah.
I came back to that office as a social worker now.
And the same people were there.
And the same
and
people.
And they were still witnessing you.
And the same people. After 2 years, I was a senior social worker and I was supervising the same people.
That must have been a great feeling.
And I recall we used to go to supervision, and most majority of those colleagues, they would tell me, "Oh, Francis, remember when you came to the office as an admin?"
I remember that. And I look at you just moving on up, doing your thing.
So it's not, as I said, don't remain stagnant.
Yeah.
You need to keep moving, keep learning, keep developing.
Yeah. And I think that is a very, very interesting way to see financial literacy, because financial literacy is financial language.
Yes.
It's financial knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
And it's how do you monetize your knowledge?
Yeah.
How do you monitor? Because we're living in a knowledge economy.
Yep.
Everything we're doing is knowledge we're producing. So how do you make sure that, not necessarily always gatekeep the knowledge you have, but make sure that you're remunerated for the money, for the knowledge that you provide, that you contribute to a solution, to a strategy, to a framework, to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of young people are missing today is, I've got skills, I've got creativity, I've got know-how, I've got knowledge, but how do I monetize that in a way that brings income for me? I guess not necessarily £1 million at the first time. Yes, some people have that blow up.
Yes.
But how do I start building incrementally that platform where I've got something that's going to really build something, contribute to something really amazing, and how do I monetize that? I think that to me is financial literacy in young people. It's
also how do you impact that? Because what happens is when you are doing it, you are also impacting that within your community, within your nuclear community, your children and the family, and also within the wider community. You can be able to talk about it. When I went into uni to do my social work, there were not so many people from my community, from the Kenyan community, doing the course. But now, over the years, we have increased, and I have advised, I've mentored a lot of people who have gone through that route. And you can see that area of specialism have continued to grow now. And what you need also to do is as well, once we get to it, what do you do with the little money that you are getting as well?
Right. So just like you said at the beginning, financial literacy is the earning, it's the spending, it's the saving, it's the investing, it's the returning. There's so much to do with money.
Yeah.
Do you know all the chapters of that book?
Yes.
Yeah. You're right.
Important.
It's so important. So let's then talk about, okay, earning money is as much as returning money. It could be savings or investment. So Proverbs 21:20 says that the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. So what is your message to this generation about the importance of saving, the importance of investing, the importance of storing up the choice, the best that you have, even though it's good to spend it. You want to go on that holiday, or you want to get that car, you want to do these things. What is your advice?
I think the most important part is to remember that you'll never have enough money from earning. You have to learn how to make that money stretch further. First, you need a budget. Well, what do I need to spend my money on? Draw your budget. Sometimes people feel it's quite complicated, but I always look at the budget as more about a reflection. And also, it's more about what we say when you go before the seat of mercy and repent. Open your heart. Now you're opening your heart. This is how much I spend for rent. This is how much I spend for bills. This is how much I spend for giving. This is how much I spend for saving. And the point I want to emphasize on here is the giving and the saving. Because when you give, you are giving to the work of God. You are also supporting the disadvantaged as well.
Yeah.
But also the saving as well. The saving bit is very, very important, because majority of the time what you save is the one that will make you rich as well.
Is that principle backed by the biblical principle of give and it shall be given unto you?
Yes, definitely. Because sometimes literally, take for example, if you give to your family, to the kids that are growing up, or to the family, you take care of them. And I'll give you a very practical example. When you support your family, for example, in education, for example, investing in their upbringing so that they can be more stable in their own lives. What happens? Rather than you giving them money over the years, you find after a few years, they'll be the ones, one, they will not be asking something from you. Second, they might be even giving something back to you.
Yeah.
But if they always say, rather than giving people fish, give them a what? A fishing rod.
Yeah. Teach them how to fish.
Teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
And once they start fishing, you'll find now they become friends, you are at the same level, you are walking the journey together. Therefore, that's literally a simple message about giving, how you give and it comes back to you. And give through the work of God. We worship God through many ways. One is through giving.
Yeah.
And that is something that I have to put across.
You have to put across.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings us to the next topic, is in terms of controlling your spending.
Yeah.
So as I've received this income via the various means, through the knowledge that I share, the side hustles that I do, etc., passive income I've generated. Okay, so now I'm controlling my spending by saying, right, here's a certain amount I'm going to give. There's the biblical principle of the 10%, the tithing, and there's other means of that. And to the giving to people around you in your nuclear family, etc. So differentiating between needs and wants. I want this, but I need that. How do we prioritize the essential expenses over discretionary spending?
There is essential expenses, and I will call them the needs, the things that you have to do to live. That's what I would say. And there are some areas of spending that you can postpone, or you can wait and you get that, or you can save towards that expense. The problem is, once you start spending on things that you can't afford, you start now getting the pressure of keeping an eye, since sometimes you can't afford the repayments. The pressure of knowing that whatever is coming in cannot meet your commitments that you have put across. And what tends to happen now? The money now moves away from being joy, becomes a problem. And I've seen people who run to the cash points midnight when their salary is running in, and they have to withdraw.
Because
before
the bank takes everything.
Before the bank takes everything. But when you get comfortable, you understand, you plan your life well. You understand these are the essentials. These are some of the things that you can start saving up for. For example, if you want to buy a house in the next 2 years, you start saving a bit. And the government has a lot of programs. They have ISAs that you can put your money into it and say, I want to buy my house in the next 2 or 3 years. I will be saving £200. And the government is saying, I will save that £200. Once it gets to that amount, we will give you another 25%. Those are some of the programs that government you can use. But those programs from the government, they are more for people who are regular savers. Therefore, even the government itself is tends to advocate for you to have that habit of saving. And remember, that saving has to go into a place where it multiplies very well. It is important to remember where to save. You don't save by giving to people who are promising you instant wealth. That's not saving.
Pyramid schemes.
You save in a place where it is secure.
So these get-rich-quick schemes, get-rich-die-trying philosophies. How destructive how destructive is that, or how beneficial is that? What's your views?
They are not beneficial at all, and it's a proven fact. I've been a victim of some as well. They are quite intense and enticing, and majority of some of these rich quick schemes, they are shared by your colleagues, sort of people you might feel you trust, but also
so you was hooked in because somebody that you trusted was recommended it. What's the harm in this?
What the harm in this?
Good for me.
Then you tried, but also what you tend to find is there's schemes that government have registered. We need to do due diligence to ensure that our money is safe. Even with those pension schemes, you need to also do diligence because we have the resources. We have ways of checking that all those schemes are genuine or not. You have ISAs that you can save your money for a long period and they'll give you better returns. You need secure investment where you know it's secure for your future. It's secure for what you intend to do with the money. But if you don't have the saving, come that rainy day, you don't have anything.
You can feel the pinch,
and something
yeah.
I wanted to pick up on here as well. We don't have a very long time to work. Sometimes assume you'll be working all your life. But it's important to remember, when you are working now, what do you want to become? You need to have some sort of a vision.
Yeah.
What do I want to achieve from the small money? Is ensuring that the pound that you are getting is stretching further. And it's a pound that you can also reach into. It's giving you security, and it is also giving you something for the future.
Agreed. I want to double back on something you mentioned earlier around these get-rich-quick schemes, or however they could be packaged. And you bought into it because somebody that I trust is broaching it to me. So speaking to your younger self now, and speaking to the young audience watching us now, is what are your top 3 questions to help filter and to ensure that what's being given to you by a trusted person is actually good for you? What kind of questions should we ask?
One is to understand where it's coming from and the history. Understand how many people are in it as well. Can you check with the registration with the government as well?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have these schemes around, for example, digital money and all these other, what are they called? Digital cash and what is cryptocurrencies and all that. Look at the registration with the FCA, sort of the Financial Service Authority. Look at how they are secured. Look at who is governing that as well. Those are some of the things that you need to check to do the due diligence. The second as well is that even sometimes we have traditional people like me, myself, when we buy land in Kenya and you find the money just disappear, you buy thin air. Because we haven't done the due diligence.
By thin air. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's difficult sometimes because you're connected with people that you may trust, but then they may present a trustworthy facade.
Yeah.
So how do you break through that and make sure that you've got the right person?
There's another point we need to use. There's a lot of resources that are available here. Also the legal system. The legal system is very important. It's very easy for me to buy a piece of land in Kenya and not involve a lawyer. A lawyer can do that due diligence for you. Gotcha. Even in this country, you can't buy a property without a lawyer. Yeah. Why are they there? To do those due diligence. Is the property there? Is the land there in the first instance? Is it owned by this individual who is selling it to you?
Do they even exist?
Do they even exist?
Do they? Yeah, exactly. Are they a legal entity that you can do business with?
And sometimes we get blinded, especially when it's too sweet. When it's very cheap, you can't get anything like that. That's the first point that you.
So if it's too good to be true,
it's too good to be true.
Then it's too good to be true.
Then it starts getting a bit smelly. So, so reach out to the resources that are available out there.
Right. Protect yourself.
Protect yourself. We have our solicitors. We have word of mouth. We have available portals and resources that you can be able to reach out to. But when it's too sweet and easy, let's just watch out, because this is your hard-earned money. Yeah. It's not free money. Yeah. No. Yeah. And what's in it, what are we trying to get out of it? Nothing is so easy to get. Easy come, easy go.
Very interesting. Very wise words. Thanks so much for that. One last thing I want to touch on is when it comes to controlling your spending, it's just always having the goal in mind, the vision in mind. We recorded an episode recently, it may have been the last, probably before this week, is about building your daily habits that really, mastering your daily habits that build a really successful future. And delayed gratification was alluded to on that.
Yeah.
And we see in Proverbs 3:11, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Yeah. So it's saying, okay, fine. How do I make sure that the little that I'm getting, I don't spend it away dishonestly?
Yeah.
But I'm going to delay my gratification and keep going towards the bigger goal. What's your views on delayed gratification?
Gratification, I think this is something that I've been talking to young people a lot. One is, a simple example is that, for example, at the moment you have maybe Samsung S24 that is now on the market.
Or the Apple.
Or
iPhone.
the Apple, the latest one.
Samsung vs Apple, it depends on where you want to go.
And just compare it with this. What's the difference between getting it this year and getting it next year if you still have a phone? If this year you're going to be paying £90 per month, and next year you are going to be paying £40 per month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same phone. Can you delay and wait for it next year? Or you need to have it now?
Well, based on that stats, of course I can wear it. You can save some money. Exactly. But I was speaking to one of our young people recently, and they've been working hard, and they've saved up a pot of money.
Yeah.
And one thing that they've been pulled by, haven't bitten the bait yet, but one thing they've been pulled by is that their colleagues in the same job are now buying BMWs. They're now doing these things, and obviously at that age you get the attention of young women, and you want to make sure that you're presented in the best light. Patron, it's called having Riz, which is a Gen Z term for charisma. So you take out the Riz out of the charisma. It's just having Riz, making sure that you're best foot forward and you're looking attractive and you've got that game. So what piece of advice would you give to a young person, male or female, that is saying to themselves, spending that X amount of thousands is not going to hurt. Because I want to be happy today, but I've still got a large pot of money that's still going to help me push to my future. What would you think about that?
I think where I would start from is, one, even when you have your peers with you, working at the same place or going to uni the same place or spending time at the same place, remember you are not all starting from the same place. There, you might be with someone who is already financially secure. The family is already financially secured for them. For them, the money maybe they're earning at your place of work, they have been told they can spend on themselves.
So it could be family privilege, it could be generational privilege that you don't know about.
And that one has also affected me during my student days. I got to a point where I was not very good in school. I associated myself with rich kids, but my family was not rich. Therefore, I was at a disadvantage when we got expelled. Where they went back to their family estate.
That comfortability, that safety.
And it's important that for our young people, when they see someone else buying one thing, they don't sort of imitate and buy it as well.
To keep up appearances.
And the other point as well, sometimes when you delay it, you find that when you delay, when you take care of your pennies, they continue to grow. And when you invest it, at the moment I'm also, as part of my side hustle, I'm also involved in property development. The pennies I keep aside, you can invest it in investment that can continue to grow. And you know what? It is very sweet if you can buy your BMW from the profit from the investment.
Let money pay for money.
Rather than taking your pound from your wages and eating it, put it into investment,
and let it double,
and then the investment is secure, and then you just take the profit and buy the BMW to treat yourself.
And I think that is the bigger game for our young people to actually get into. The bigger risk to have is, my friends might be getting this immediate money, and then it's spent straight away, and the money's gone into an asset that is not even an asset, it's depreciating as soon as you drive off the forecourt. But the better game to show potential suitors is, I've got investments already set lined up. I've already been doing this. It makes you think about Proverbs 24:27, where it says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. That's exactly what you've been saying. Line up the investments, line up the opportunities, and then let the work from the field buy the house.
And that is what I've also come to learn in terms of investment. Investment, once you put it somewhere where it's growing, and you just spend on the profit, you'll still get there. But what I'm telling the young people and everyone else, if you delay that immediate gratification, you're going to reap, and you're going to reap for a very long time and reap big.
Love that. Okay, let's talk about then a little bit, because we've touched on it in other points, but investing into the future. I've heard that scripture a lot, and I'm sure some of you watching today may have heard that scripture as well in Proverbs 13:22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. So a good person leaves an inheritance for their great-grandchildren. The great-grandchildren, what's your strategy for that?
The strategy for that, I think I did mention right from the start. When you start sort of being prudent in financial management, if you start managing your finances effectively, one, we always say, don't invest for your children, invest in your children.
Don't invest for your children.
Invest in
your children.
And how do you invest in your children? Right from the start, when you are talking, when you are doing all this, when you are practicing what you are talking about, you are investing in them. When they watch you, the way you are doing things, not just your immediate children, but other people who are in contact with you, you are investing in them. And what tends to happen? You contaminate positively.
You contaminate positively.
Yeah.
So you're spreading
the good news.
The good news positively.
Yeah.
Okay, so investing in a person.
Yeah.
Is it a combination, or is it either or, like a knowledge? Is it saying, here's 10,000, use this to start this, and then the rest is yours?
Yeah.
What is that investing in looking at? So is it spending time? Is it mentorship? Is it a collection of all the above?
It's a collection of all the activities. One is investing by doing it. I've always said as well that there are so many people you are mentoring without you knowing it. There are people who are watching you. Maybe you don't even know them. Maybe there are people who are following you on Fresh Fridays. They don't know where Mike lives, but they know, I would like to follow the principles of that guy.
Gotcha, yeah.
And those are some of the things that you should always remember. Whether you are doing it, whether you are saying it, or whether you are walking it, everything that you do should be about investing the goodness of God. The goodness of God that is in you. Some of the things that you do, they preach.
Your life is the lifestyle.
Your life is the lifestyle.
It's showing how God's blessings have touched my life.
Yeah, it's more like what the Matthew 5 talks about, the light and the salt.
Yeah. Be it.
Yeah.
Be it. Let it shine.
Yeah.
So just what you were saying, investing is doing it. So yes, it's letting your light shine. It's putting the salt to use and let people feel it.
And what is to happen is that when you leave a legacy.
Yeah.
You leave a legacy. And if it's your children, they see how you're doing it, then they're going to do it. But even if they don't do it, at least you played your part.
You provided the knowledge.
You provide the knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, even literally, if you become successful in life, as well, you have the investments and everything else to leave them, rather than leaving them with the problems as well.
Right. Because essentially storing up an inheritance for your children's children is making sure that the knowledge that you've given them is passing on. It doesn't die with the next generation. But the know-how, the do-how is passed on.
Yeah. And this one literally is more about, even I think we did talk about this earlier.
Yeah.
As well is, how is the impact of your wealth as the money you are earning?
Yeah.
Who does it reach out to? Some of the work that we do with disadvantaged children, taking them to school. Some of the work that we do with supporting our own family members to bring them up, because they just need to be supported. Some of them, and they are running. And what legacy are you leaving for that?
Right.
If you've been earning this money, are you able to reach out? Are you able to make sure that, for example, myself and my wife, we are both firstborns in the family. We have been sort of paying school fees for our younger siblings. Now they are grown up, they are up and running, they are in good jobs. Those are the kind of legacy that the Bible is talking about.
Yeah.
Even reaching out to others, distant relatives, friends and family as well. Those are the important bits as well. Even in the impact with the other people that you lead, what's happening as well. In work environment, that is the work I do most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm within an environment where we support vulnerable adults, improving the services that is being provided by the government. Very important to that.
Very important.
Yeah.
Trust funds.
Yeah.
So setting up a trust fund for your family, locking up wealth until a certain age so they can't squander or destroy what's being built because of a lack of financial literacy. But when they come into that knowledge and practice of that, then they can say, I know how to handle money. Then the trust unlocks for them a certain amount. Something that you're looking into, or do you have views on this?
I've got my views on this. One is ensuring that you remain educated in terms of, for example, understanding sort of the inheritance tax. How can you be able to become tax efficient?
Not tax avoidant.
No, I'm tax efficient.
Yes, I get it.
How you become tax efficient so that you can be able to support your children.
Yeah.
For example, when they are growing up, can can I support them to get in the property market? Rather than waiting until holding everything together until when I can't remember things from yesterday.
You can't remember things from yesterday. I'm getting old. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, getting old.
Yeah.
It's during that time when they actually need a leg up. Just
give it to them.
A bit of support.
Yeah.
Give it to them.
Give them the know-how.
Yeah.
Let them be the landlord.
Yeah.
Experience the stresses.
Experience the stresses.
This is all financial
and also
literacy.
let's also take advantage of the younger generation. It's not that I am the owner of knowledge. No. I need also to understand, to learn, because it's getting sometimes where even my children are the ones advising, things are not being done the same way they used to be done.
Yeah.
There is new opportunities here. For example, I might be so much keen on properties or maybe buying plots in Kenya and all those things, but they're saying, you know what, there's this investment trust, ISA. It's actually even beating the returns from the properties.
Let me just put money in there quickly.
Yeah. And then you can have that dialogue and think, oh, you know what, this is more safer, and don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly, yeah.
Spread your risk.
Yeah. And it's true. And then if your children or your young person is now taking on that journey to buy a house, they start to get more financial knowledge, understanding amortization, understanding what does APR mean, what all the factors that are considered in an application to be successful. I got to start doing these things now to make sure that my application is seen as clean as it can be and green ticks across all my history as much as possible. That's very good advice, Patron. I wanted to quickly to get your views on two things.
Okay.
And I've got a surprise. I've got a surprise for you. At the financial bill in Kenya.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that. Somebody who's passionate about finance, someone's passionate about these things. You are from Kenya.
Yeah.
You love that country.
Yeah, I do.
Talk to us about the finance bill. It's affected. I know that as of yesterday, which is the date today is the 29th of June, when we're recording.
Yes.
I know that about 168 young people died.
Yeah.
Because they're also passionate about the financial bill and they want to be heard. Just give us your views. This is a non-political statement. This is, nothing is held to you by it. But just want to get, what's your take on what's happening in that country?
I think the financial bill itself, when it was put together, I think people have sort of lost touch with what is happening on the ground. And by this I say, when you are looking through the financial bill, it's about they have lost touch with the priorities, or the priorities of the government, and also what the population requires. And when you are looking at that some of the issues that the young people are complaining about, they were quite genuine, in terms of the extravagant of the elite, as in the government, where money tends to be concentrated so much with those people who are in the political space. And the young people, we have a lot of young people in Kenya, especially educated population, and they have no jobs, and they can see the only opportunity to grow is you go into the political space.
Right.
And if we cannot all fit in the political space, and they can see what they are happening.
Yeah.
And they can see what some of the expenditures that have been put on the bill, they are more to oppress them. And the second point as well, they felt that they are not well represented. The people who they have elected to represent them in the parliament, they said that they have to toe the line of the party. They didn't want. They were not listening to the electorate. Those are some of the issues that came up. But also, it's looking at the key priorities of the government. It's about taking care of its people. But the bill itself, there were a lot of issues around it that seemed quite suppressing to the young people. And the young people, it seems that they felt that they have no hope in the system.
So what's your message to those young people who feel no hope? What message of comfort would you give them?
I think their message has been listened to. And it's not just within the political system. This is happening as well across the world in terms of the population understanding the needs and aspiration of the younger people. And also, we are in the habit of saying they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are over 18. They are heading to up to they are in their 35, heading towards 40. When do you become a leader? When do you become a leader? But also, it's not even about us as well. Sometimes you can still become a leader, but also you need to adapt. You need to evolve as well. Some of the priorities of the young people, things have changed now. It's not the same thing, the same way we used to do things in the 90s. Things have changed. It's about listening to them, having that dialogue and conversation with them. And it's important that the young people continue to remind us, the older people, where we are going wrong. And it's important for us, the older people, the older generation, and I'm comparing myself with this generation who are leading in the government, who are leaders in the government. They need to now to create that space where younger people can continue to advise them so that they can be able to tweak, to change the way they approach things, the way they listen to things, the way we deal with things. These 168 people did not need to die. And then wait and then overturn the bill.
Right.
They could have done that earlier.
Yeah.
A lot of things could not have happened. But it's having that heart to calm down quickly. You can change your mind. That's what the Bible says. A wise man change their mind. And you'll see the direction that the wind is blowing before things get wrong. It is very important. And I feel for the parents whose children lives got lost. It's neglectable. But also, I hope that moving ahead, we'll have more dialogue and a government that listens. All those things that the young people complained about, they address them as well. They work through looking at all the extravagance that have been happening in the government, reduction, the corruption, all those things that they have been complaining about. And they should remember as well, now we are in the digital age. Everything that is being done in darkness will be brought to light.
Yeah.
And the young people are ready to pursue this. Therefore, it is important for us as the older generation to meet them and listen to them and demonstrate truthfully that we are going to do it.
Yeah. I think the demonstrations of young people in Kenya have just shown the world and shown the country, look, we're not going to back down.
Yes.
We're going to pursue what we believe is right for us because the decisions you're making today affects our future.
Definitely.
We'll be living in the results of your decisions tomorrow.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we have a voice in that. We want to make sure we have a say in that. And I think, your views have been very, very helpful.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
As
Thank
well.
you.
Let's draw it to a conclusion then.
Okay.
So I've got one stat for you. So according to the same research by MyBank and Compare the Market, they found that if only 3.5 hours is committed to financial education per month per person, this could help make the majority of young adults financially literate and provide more economic benefits for society as a whole.
Yes.
So 3.5 hours a month. Our viewers are watching. They are whoever they are, a young person, a different kind of person. They've got 3.5 hours a month. What are some of the resources that you use to learn, to build your financial literacy? What experiences would you recommend them to use in that 3.5 hours to build their literacy?
Yeah. I think investment in learning as a whole is very, very important. One, I started my continuous learning all the time. I've joined, and nothing that you learn is useless. I've done Open University. I've done mortgage advisor training. I went up to doing the tests. I tried doing it. I've done computer programming. All those knowledges, you read as much as you can. Your mind will continue growing. Have that resource. Paid learning is very, very important as well.
Yeah.
Invest. Have a budget for learning. I believe maybe sometimes we'll get into sort of in terms of budgeting. Invest to learn. When you're talking about 3.5 hours per month, that's less than an hour per week.
Yeah.
Have that resource. And these days, even you have audiobooks.
Podcasts.
You have podcasts. You can listen when you are driving, when you are walking.
Yeah.
And it's about substituting the time that you I wouldn't say you spend doing other things, listening to music, watching the movies, watching Netflix.
It's the same thing.
Even when you go in Spotify, there are some podcasts that you can listen.
Right.
You can choose between listening to music today and listen to a podcast
about financial literacy
literacy.
Yeah, it's true.
And what tends to happen is you start getting enlightened to a point where money becomes your friend. Money becomes a tool in your hand. You are the one who is directing money. But sometimes if you get it wrong, money takes control of you.
Yeah.
And it's the one that is directing you. It's making you work overtime because you have to meet some commitments that you have done. It gets you stressed because you cannot meet your commitments. You have sleepless nights because
anxiety,
now it's the money driving you. You're not driving the money. You need to get to a point where you are the one dictating to the money what the money needs to do.
Yeah, you're the one who's in control.
Therefore, you need that to gain that ability to be able to do those things. You need the knowledge. You need the skills. If you want to drive a car, you need to learn how to drive. You need a driving license.
Right.
If you need to manage your money effectively, you need to develop those skills. You need to develop that learning. You need the books. You need all those podcasts. You need also to be associated with people who are doing it.
Yeah, mentors.
Yeah.
Coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important that you have people that are doing it, and people who can be able to guide you and walk the journey with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone who's watched this far. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to Fresh Fridays. This is the kind of content is coming out from this platform. We want to make sure that it's relevant for young people, the lifestyles we're living, and more importantly, where does God have his place in all of these things? His principles, his life gives us life. And his principles help us make great decisions, wise decisions. As you can see, with Elder Francis, his story, his examples, his knowledge, his wisdom he shared is from a lifetime of learning about finance and practicing the good practices of it. So again, don't forget to subscribe. We've got so much more coming, so stay tuned. Thank you so much, Elder Francis, once again, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. God bless you.